A Southern Kentucky police chief goes to jail after a judge rejects his guilty plea. You'll hear from both sides coming up.
UK police say they're tired of people driving around illegally on mopeds, how they're cracking down ahead.
It's been 1 year since Lauryn Hill lost her battle with brain cancer. The community is finding ways to keep her memory alive.
This is WKYT News at 4:30.
Good afternoon. On this Monday, Sam Dick and Amber Philpott reporting a Southern Kentucky police chief was sent to jail today when the judge denied a guilty plea.
Robbie Gossett was set for a jury trial today in Pulaski County Circuit Court. He was facing a number of theft charges from an indictment last year. Gossett was supposed to plead guilty, but the judge didn't like how Gossett described what he did wrong. Bill Pendleton has the details from Somerset. It's our top story at 4:30.
Robbie Gossett will likely stay here until at least Friday. He was supposed to face a jury trial today, but instead Robbie Gossett wanted to plead guilty. But basically, the judge didn't like the way that Gossett explained his actions. He rejected the plea and sent Gossett to jail. Judge David Tapp wanted to hear more about Gossett's actions over the course of 16 months in 2008 and 2009. He was pleading guilty to counts 3 and 4 of the indictment under the charge of tampering with public records. The 17-year veteran police chief also had job duties of taking cash and check deposits from the utility office at City Hall to Fort Bank. It's not exactly clear what Gossett allegedly did with some of that money or what happened to it. Gossett simply told the judge that he made a number of mistakes in handling that money.
It was my responsibility, if I'd have been doing due diligence, if I'd have been going in there and doing my job correctly that they'd wanted me to do for that, this stuff would not have happened.
And him and hawing around this question of your plea of guilty. So at this time, I reject the plea agreement. Mr. Gossett is remanded into custody.
Gossett's attorney, Scott Foster, did not want to talk about the developments after the hearing. Gossett also declined a jailhouse interview in Pulaski County. Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
The plea agreement did have Gossett making a restitution payment of $30,000. The judge said that he will set a new trial date on Friday when Gossett is supposed to be in court again. After a recent moped accident involving 2 UK athletes, UK's police department is launching a campaign today to make moped drivers aware of Kentucky's laws. Moped drivers must follow the same rules as someone riding a motorcycle. These state laws are not new, but police want to educate and let you know they'll be cracking down and enforcing the laws. That includes moped users not riding on sidewalks or in bike paths.
So that's the problem that we're really trying to attack, is to get people to understand those laws. So the first couple weeks, we're going to issue warnings and educational material. After that, we'll step up enforcement as needed with citations.
Moped users are also asked to park in a motorcycle space, not at a bike rack. We'll have more on the rules that UK police will be cracking down on ahead for you on WKYT News at 5:30.
We have learned that a man killed in a Lexington crash was a well-known cartoonist for The New Yorker. The New York Times reports that 76-year-old William Hamilton drew cartoons that poke fun at the wealthy and powerful. He worked for The New Yorker from 1965 until he died. His wife, Lucy Young Hamilton, is the daughter of the late prominent businessman philanthropist W.T. Young. She says that Hamilton liked to go for afternoon drives and was about 4 miles from their horse farm when he crashed on Friday. Police say a car pulled in front of a pickup on Old Richmond Road at DeLong Road. Hamilton's wife thinks that he either passed out or was distracted. Well, it's the week we have been waiting for, spring. It seems like it's finally, eventually coming back to the bluegrass.
We certainly hope so, but first we have to get through some shower storms and a cold shot of air. Let's check in now with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey. We knew it wouldn't be easy to get there.
There's always a but in there somewhere, right? But yeah, we do have some rain on the move this evening, gusty winds, and a little chill down coming up tomorrow. Nothing, though, like this past weekend and last week. Defender Radar Network, most of central and eastern Kentucky dry. Get into northern parts of central Kentucky. Now we have some heavy rains. Boy, it's really been coming down Maysville into Nicholas County, parts of Bourbon County, through Scott County, Franklin County, even northern Woodford County. What we're seeing in the Lexington area right now, most of that not getting down to the ground, maybe a sprinkle or 2. Future radar shows showers and thunderstorms, though, picking up the pace this evening, middle of the evening. But look at that. Shortly after midnight, a lot of that stuff is already blowing out of eastern Kentucky. All of that coming in with a strong cold front, mild out ahead of it, cool air coming in behind it. That's right, cool. I can't really call tomorrow's weather cold, especially considering where we've been over the past week and change. When I come back in a few minutes, we are going to show you a pattern that looks and feels more like it should for this time of year. That's in just about 5 minutes.
Sounds promising. Thank you, Chris. There are all kinds of myths surrounding organ donation. That's why the month of April is dedicated to raising awareness for the cause. Less than 50% of Kentuckians are signed up on the state's donor registry, but one central Kentucky county is far surpassing that number. With more than 85% of folks signed up, Clark County is ahead of all counties in the state. It's a cause that is very personal to many there, including their circuit clerk, who has made it a priority to get people signed up.
We are very sensitive to the situation and why we know how important it is to try to help others.
Tonight on WKYT News at 6, we'll hear more from the Clark County clerk about her mission to save lives. And Amber's in the newsroom now with reporter Hillary Thornton with more on that. Amber?
Sam, thank you. It sounds like the clerk there in Clark County really has a passion for this, Hillary. You got to sit down with Clerk Paula Jocelyn and see why they're having so much success there.
Well, Jocelyn and her entire staff have really made it a priority to educate their community about the importance of the state's donor registry through the program known as Trust for Life. That's a program that was actually founded by Jocelyn's uncle, and at the time was the first of its kind in the country.
So what are they doing there in Clark County that's so different maybe than other counties to get these numbers up?
Well, anyone who's gone to get a driver's license knows that due to state law, anytime you go to get that, you are asked if you'd like to sign up. However, in Clark County, they're going beyond simply asking that question. When you step into the office there, you are surrounded by banners and deputy clerks ready to educate about what it really means to sign up. Also in that office are the pictures of folks living and working out in their community, all thanks to receiving transplants.
It is so very important, Hillary. And so tonight at 6, you're going to meet two of those people, a firefighter continuing to live out his dream job thanks to a cornea transplant, and a high school student who received a heart transplant at only 5 months old. That's tonight at 6, Sam.
Very impressive. Thank you, Amber. It has been 1 year since an inspirational young lady lost her battle with brain cancer. 19-year-old Lauren Hill died last year. The teenager was diagnosed just weeks after signing to play basketball at Mount St. Joseph University in Cincinnati. She played in 4 games before becoming an honorary coach. Hill's hometown in Indiana dedicated a street and a stone memorial to her. Gage's Lane, which runs beside the cemetery where she is buried, was renamed number 22 Lauren Hill Lane.
I'm honored that she's here laid to rest across from a park that she loved to swim at and play at and ride her bike through.
And after she passed away, Hill received the Best Moment Award at the 2015 ESPYs for her performance at the season opener basketball game.
You are being asked to come out for a fun night at the Tin Roof in Lexington with live music courtesy of Coach Matthew Mitchell, the Nashville All-Stars, and Halfway to Hazard.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Deanne Stevens is out and about with details on how it's all going towards a good cause. Hey, Deanne.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. We are here in the iHeartMedia Live Lounge where the announcement was made just last week about a big event Coach Matthew Mitchell is going to be a part of. Like, you're hosting this huge pre-derby party, aren't you?
Yeah, a big party at the Tin Roof, May 6th, 8 o'clock, $10. You can get your ticket, and we're going to have a big time.
So who all's playing? Who all's a part of this party?
So Halfway to Hazard is going to play, and we love those guys and appreciate they've donated their time. And then my band, the Nashville All-Stars, are a great group of songwriters and session players in Nashville, and the band is awesome.
So this is kind of a low-key celebration of Derby weekend in the Bluegrass, isn't it? We don't have to wear our fancy hats and dresses.
No, the dress can be low-key, but you better be high energy because we are going to rock out. It's going to be so much fun.
Okay, you've got Jordan English with you.
Jordan English of the Jordan English Band was nice enough. My guys are en route. We've got a big gig later, so Jordan came in. Thank you so much, Jordan. He's a really talented musician here in town. He's going to help us out.
Okay, what are we going to hear?
Everybody close your ears right now. Close your ears.
Or turn it up.
We've got a little song that people might be familiar with.
All right, Coach Matthew Mitchell and Jordan English.
Little ditty about Jack and Diane, 2 American kids side till he's free. Dancing on Jackie's lap, he's got his hands between his knees. Jack said, "Diane, let's run off behind a shady tree. Dribble off those lovely good slacks in the dim wood I feel." He said, "Oh yeah, life goes on long after the thread of living is gone. Oh yes, life goes on long after the thread of living is gone." Little ditty about Don and Leanne. 98 wonderful co-hosts doing the best day.
I love it. That's my favorite part of the song. Catch Coach Matthew Mitchell, the Nashville All-Stars, halfway to Hazard. I'm sure we're going to talk Jordan English to come hang out with us that night as well. Pre-Derby party at the Tin Roof. Tickets now at
MitchellFamily-Foundation.org.
Awesome. All right.
Thanks to Jordan English.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much.
All right, I'm Deanne Stevens, out and about. Back to you guys.
All right, love it. Little Jack and Diane sounded great. Englishman Danny Willett is a Masters champion. Last year's winner, American Jordan Spieth, was favored to win the coveted green jacket again, but he finished 3 shots behind Willett after suffering a crushing meltdown on the back 9. Willett is the second British golfer to win the Masters tournament. That was heartbreaking, wasn't it?
It was heartbreaking to watch, but Willett played great, so.
There you go. Rockers Bryan Adams and Bruce Springsteen scrapping shows in the South over 2 controversial laws.
Yeah, Adams canceled a show in Mississippi amid a new state law allowing religious groups and some private businesses to refuse service to gay couples. Meanwhile, Bruce Springsteen canceled a show in Greensboro, North Carolina to protest a new law banning transgender people from using public bathrooms of the gender they identify with. The arena is now offering refunds to that show. Cameron Diaz feels great about her age, and MTV reveals the movie of the year.
Suzanne Marquez has those stories and more on your Eye on Entertainment.
Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart hosted last night's MTV Movie Awards, where voters picked Star Wars: The Force Awakens as Movie of the Year.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Melissa McCarthy became the first woman to win MTV's Comedic Genius Award. Cameron Diaz has a new role, but it's not in front of the camera. The 43-year-old has been a movie star for more than 20 years. Now she's written the longevity book about the science of aging.
Of course there's wrinkles, of course there's sagging, of course there's these changes in our hair and in our flesh and in our capabilities, but that can't just be on the surface. It has to be deeper.
Diaz says aging is a privilege and that she has no interest in being 25 again. The cast of Incognito is getting ready to unveil the strange true story of the doctor who stole Albert Einstein's brain. It's told through intertwining plots that touch on questions of memory and identity. Geneva Carr plays several different characters and says the play is funnier than you would expect.
It's brain in the most unexpected, intense, smartly written way, but it is couched in really funny, witty characters and dialogues and situations.
Incognito opens off-Broadway in May. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Suzanne Marquez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge are continuing their tour of India today. Prince William and his wife Kate met survivors of the 2008 Mumbai attacks and played cricket on the first day in the country. The couple also toured an impoverished neighborhood before capping the night off at a charity ball with Bollywood stars, sports figures, and business leaders. Their visit comes in the wake of the tragic fire at a Hindu temple, which killed more than 100 people and left hundreds of others injured. William and Kate are scheduled to travel to New Delhi tomorrow.
I'm really liking where this forecast is headed.
Yes, we deserve it, don't we?
We do.
And when it comes, Chris Bailey, in the form of near the weekend, we love it even more.
Thanks for putting a little added pressure on me. Make sure it carries us into the weekend. But right now, guys, it looks really good later this week into the weekend. We got to get there, though, and steering the wheel toward that milder pattern. Well, we've got to go through a little rain, and we're starting to see that out there. Now, look at that ugly cam coming out of Covington. It is raining to beat the band. Can you imagine that evening commute into northern Kentucky right now? Lexington, not as bad. Partly cloudy skies. Southeastern Kentucky, we've hit the low 70s, 71 right now into Jackson, but the rains will begin to settle on in from northwest to southeast, and that's being pushed by some much cooler air that will surge in here later tonight and into the day tomorrow, though it is not going to be anything close to what we had from last week into the start of this past weekend when we even had some snow. We're not talking about anything like that. And when I come back in a little bit, we will focus more on the milder stuff heading into the weekend. Let's see how any drops are impacting the afternoon commute. Here's Officer Don.
Live look at Lexington rush hour traffic, and we still have one collision that's causing some problems near Virginia and Export Street. Now, only the left lanes are available right now through that intersection from that injury crash as police try to clear that up so we can get traffic moving again in that area. Leaving downtown, of course, that's going to have an impact on South Broadway and also Nicholasville Rover. People are trying to avoid that as well. As far as drive times go this afternoon, to Nicholasville's 12 minutes, Georgetown's 15, and Paris we're looking at 21. Now back to you in the studio.
Officer Don, thank you. A whopper of a prank, a goat in a coffee shop, and a dog that's out of this world. It's the video that will have you talking. Take a look at this.
There was no gas leak and no need to smash the windows, but workers at a Minnesota Burger King didn't know that. Police in the Minneapolis suburb of Coon Rapids say the manager employees fell victim to a prank. They got a call claiming to be from the fire department. The caller said the restaurant could explode and they needed to relieve the pressure, so they broke out the store windows. The Star Tribune reports other fast food restaurants have been targeted in similar pranks in recent months.
A goat apparently needed a caffeine fix when it wandered into a Starbucks in Northern California. Dispatchers got several calls yesterday morning about a goat at a strip mall in Rohnert Park. Employees who were opening the Starbucks tried to give the goat a banana, but he wasn't having it. Instead, started chewing on a box. Police took the goat into custody and then brought it to the animal shelter, but not before snapping some photos of the goat sniffing around the Starbucks.
Okay. And now to our other animal story of the day. Sam the dog has gone where no stuffed animal has gone before, into the stratosphere. Teachers and students at an elementary school in northwest England strapped the fluffy school mascot to a high-altitude, it is funny, helium balloon and launched him from a hotel roof last week. Sam went about 15 miles before the balloon burst. His journey was captured on video. The camera and GPS tracker have been found, but Sam is still missing. I can't get over how great that video looks.
That is incredible.
I mean, that really
video.
is, that's fantastic.
Some little kid has Sam now
Yes.
as his new stuffed animal.
Bring Sam home.
All right, stick with us. Here's what we're working on for you now at 5 o'clock.